I'm 88 years old, and the biggest mistake of my life wasn't a bad investment. It was signing one piece of paper the day I gave my children control of my money. Within 2 years, I was asking permission to buy my own groceries. I survived it, and today I'll show you exactly what to do instead. It never starts with greed. It starts with love. Dad, let me just help with the bills. That's how it began for me. My son was kind, he was smart, and he was right. I was getting older and the paperwork was getting harder. So I said yes. I want you to remember that word, yes, because one small yes turned into another and another, and by the time I understood what was happening, I had almost nothing left to say no with. If you're over 60 or you love someone who is, this is the most important 15 minutes you'll spend this year. Stay with me because the mistake I made is one that millions of good parents make, and the fix is simpler than you'd ever guess. Here's the part nobody warns you about. They don't take your money all at once. They take your control one piece at a time. First, it was the online banking password, so I can pay things when you're tired, Dad. Then it was adding his name to my checking account, just in case something happens to you. Then it was a power of attorney. The bank recommended it. Each step looked like help. Each step felt like love. And each step quietly moved me from being the owner of my life to being a guest in it. One morning I went to buy a coffee and a newspaper, $2. The card was declined. I called my son and he said, calm as anything, Dad, I froze that account. We talked about your spending, remember? We had not talked about it. I was 84 years old, and I could not buy a cup of coffee. But here's the strange part. Losing the account wasn't even the worst of it, because the next thing they came for was the house. And that's where the real war began. My wife and I bought our home in 1971. We raised 3 children in it. It was paid off. It was ours. So when my son suggested putting his name on the deed, to avoid taxes later, Dad, it sounded smart. It sounded responsible. What I didn't understand is that the moment his name went on that paper, the house was no longer fully mine. I couldn't sell it without his signature. I couldn't refinance it. And worse, my other 2 children saw what happened, and they were furious. The phone calls started, the accusations. One child accusing another of stealing. 40 years of brotherhood gone in a month. Over a house, over money, over me. I lay awake at night thinking the same thing. I didn't raise my children to fight like this. So what did I do wrong? It took me almost dying to find the answer. And when I found it, it changed everything. I'll get to that. But first you need to know the one document that decides all of this. The one almost nobody sets up correctly. Here is the first thing I wish someone had told me at 65. Write this down. You do not have to choose between getting help and giving up control. There is a third way, and it's called a revocable living trust. I know, it sounds like a lawyer word. Let me make it simple. A trust is like a box that holds everything you own, your house, your savings, your accounts. And here's the magic part. You hold the only key. While you're alive and well, you control every single thing inside it. You can change it, you can cancel it, you can take things out whenever you want. But if the day comes when you truly can't manage, if you're sick or your mind isn't sharp, then and only then, the person you chose steps in to help. Not to take over your life, just to follow the instructions you wrote while you were still strong. Do you see the difference? With a joint account, you give away control today. With a trust, you keep control until the very last moment you're able to use it. If I had done this one thing at 79, I would never have lost that coffee. I would never have lost those nights of peace. But a trust alone isn't enough. Because there's a second mistake I made. A mistake that let one of my children act behind the other's backs. And fixing it is the secret that finally stopped the fighting. Here's the rule that saved my family. Never let one child act alone. When I gave my son power of attorney, I gave it to him only. One person, one signature, no one watching. That's not a gift, that's a temptation, and it's not fair to put on anyone you love. So I changed it. I named two of my children together, so no big decision could be made unless both agreed. And I asked a neutral professional, a fiduciary, to keep the records and send a simple report to all three children once a year. Do you know what happened the moment everyone could see everything? The suspicion died. The accusations stopped. There was nothing to hide, so there was nothing to fight about. Transparency is the cure. Secrecy is the poison. I had it backwards for years. And the funny thing is, my children were relieved. Because the truth is, most kids don't want total control over their parents' money. They're terrified of being blamed. By sharing the responsibility, I took that fear off all of them. But there was still one thing standing in my way. And it wasn't legal. It wasn't financial. It was inside me. And it's the same thing stopping most of you watching right now. The hardest part wasn't the paperwork. It was the guilt. Every time I tried to protect myself, a small voice said, "If you do this, you're telling your children you don't trust them." And one of them said it out loud. "Dad, don't you trust me?" I want to give you the answer I wish I'd had ready. Trusting your children and handing them control are two completely different things. I trust my son with my life. That doesn't mean I should put him in a position where he has to choose between his interests and mine. That's not protecting him. That's setting a trap and calling it love. The day I stopped feeling guilty was the day I stood up straight again. I kept my own account. I kept my own key. And here's what surprised me most. My children love me more for it, not less. Because a parent who stays strong and independent is a gift to a family. A parent who becomes a burden slowly through bad decisions, that's the real heartbreak. So if guilt is the thing holding you back tonight, hear me clearly. Choosing dignity is not selfish. It's the most loving thing you can do. So after 88 years, after every mistake, here is everything I learned in one sentence. Keep control while you live. Set it up so no single child can act alone. And let a neutral person hold the records, so love never turns into suspicion. That's it. That's the whole secret. I'm 88 now. I still write my own checks. My three children still call me, not to ask about money, but just to talk. No lawsuits, no silence at the dinner table, no accusations. I didn't protect my money from my children. I protected my children from what money does to families. So before you sign anything at all, ask yourself one simple question. Do I still hold the key? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. If even one thing I said tonight saved you from a mistake, do an old man a favor and subscribe. Every week I share one hard lesson from a long life, and next time I'm going to tell you about the one conversation every parent must have with their children before it's too late. You won't want to miss it. Take care of yourself. And take care of your dignity. It's the one thing no one should ever be allowed to take from you.